20 acre. Klickitat, Washington, near the Columbia River, Gorge, and White Salmon. So my name is Miles McLaughlin. We buy and sell raw land here at Wilco Land. It's a really cool property that we have available for us. I love the location. I love what I'm looking at here. Access roads are pretty decent for rural property. Probably have some views of Mount Adams and Mount Hood, I'm guessing, from this piece of land. And yeah, you can kind of see that from a distance. Probably Rainier and Adams looking that way. I'm going to go over some FAQs in this question or in this video and talk about the property a little bit and what I know. So we've got the description here. I've got the parcel ID posted here. You can search it on Klickitat County's GIS system. The first thing I want to touch on this property is access. That's our most common question that we get. So we offer a buyer's due diligence model. You're going to have to verify all your own information and learn about the property on your own, right? So when it comes to viewing, you're responsible for your own viewing. So first thing I want to touch on is the location. So I've got the GPS coordinates copied and pasted right out of our website, and I plugged them in here on Google Maps. So showing you where we're located. This is a super cool part of the Columbia River around White Salmon. You're really close to it from Klickitat. You've got the Klickitat River up here as well. You get into a more rural area with some live water on this property, actually, as a matter of fact. So really great spot for recreation, hunting, maybe a homestead or a second home, right? Or a small farm. This is Schilling Road up here to the north. Our photographer took a road off of that to access this. He was able to get to the property, no problem. Again, the buyer's going to have to do some of their own homework on that. You can see Google Maps doesn't do great. So don't just plug in coordinates and act like you're going to drive to the property. I really strongly suggest using Onyx Maps. I'm pulling up the coordinates on Onyx Maps here. You can see all these little dirt trails going around the property. The other thing I have pulled up on this property is Google Earth. So this is also a link inside the listing. You're going to access a property from Schilling Road somewhere along here. I'd have to go through and read the photographer notes to see where that access point is. But you can clearly see this defined road going back here to our property, actually coming through two good sections of it, right? It's being used fairly often. Sometimes you can zoom in and see who's got little residences. So clearly this person is accessing their land. This person is too, right? This person is too, all from these dirt tracks kind of romping around back here, right? I don't see many structures on those. Let's see what else we're working with here. Then you've got these roads that kind of tuck into the trees over here. Somebody else is using this property. So you kind of get into the trees. It's hard to see all these dirt roads. You can kind of see this comes off Schilling here, and it looks like it veers through this valley. There's some other access points off Schilling as well. So you'll just have to do a little bit of research and homework on your end. In terms of access to this property, it looks like this is another section that comes off Schilling that might get you over to where you want to be here. Again, you'll have to study maps and get out here to access yourself. If you want to come in from the south, I don't know if that's a great access point, but again, just without getting too deep into the weeds for this property, I want to talk on the easement next. So you can see these roads are being used. Folks are accessing properties back here, okay? What I do want to cover, again, using Onyx Maps or visits, I've got a blog on the website about it. I want to touch on access here. Somebody had a question about an easement. So this is a legal description of the property. Parcel A describes the location of the property, the south half of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter is section 32, township 4, range 14. In the listing, we have this linked in the photos as well, but we're in section 32. You can see this number here. This is our property when it was originally created. This was the owner. It's a 20-acre property. And he's got, they've got notes and stuff. It's hard to see, rolling cedar. So whoever did this survey, obviously state of Washington, somebody with a state did this survey, it looks like, and they've got everything marked out here. So you can see this road running through here, things of that nature. So let's see this. It's just hard to tell what they're writing in here. But anyhow, you can see section 32. And again, I'm not going to dive into this. Honestly, if you want a surveyor or a professional to read through this with you, I'd contact them. But the next thing I want to touch on is this is a location of the property, but parcel B is describing ingress and egress, right? And an easement. These are key words, right? Parcel B, this is part of the legal description recorded with the county of the land. right? A non-exclusive easement for ingress, egress, and utilities over all existing farming and logging roads, and the west and south 30 feet of the south half of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter. I'm not an expert in reading plat maps and identifying legal descriptions. I don't, for me, I was comfortable buying this property. To me, this is clearly access. What it's saying is the south 30 feet of the south half of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter. So what it's saying is like the northwest quarter, the southwest quarter, the south half of the southwest quarter, right? So again, get a surveyor, contact a surveyor. They can help you decipher that and what that means. To me, that was enough for me to purchase a property. You're going to have to do your own due diligence and verify that information. I'm not too worried about access. There's a strong case here. We also have the property priced really well. You can see, I just wanted to share in Klickitat County, if you sort by the county on LandWatch, and you go price low to high, we are the lowest priced property in Klickitat County. And I think we have a pretty darn good property. So this is in Goldendale. This is way more out in the boonies, further east. Another one in Goldendale, way further east, right? So these are out in the boonies, kind of in no man's land. I like to think ours is a little further west and nicer property. So you can find some 5-acre lots, but let's go into acreage here. Can you find anything between 10? What's the price here? Sort low to high. Again, I mean, we get into 20 acres for 100K in Goldendale. Again, I think our properties are quite a bit better than these, but then we start getting into 125, 150. White salmon is 200. You just don't see a lot. Also on Zillow, if we get closer to Klickitat, a lot of those properties we were looking at on LandWatch here in the 100 to 125 range are going to be over here in Goldendale, way to the east. So we can see some of those, and 75K for 5 acres out in Goldendale, right? I don't know what else is out here. 120K for 5 acres. I mean, even out in Goldendale, right? You look on Zillow and there's just not a lot. I don't know why that's so expensive. It must be commercial, but let's find some more rural property here. Here's a 20 acre. I don't know why it's so expensive. You'd have to read about it, but I mean, these properties have some views out here around Centerville, 80 acres for 350. Still kind of a barren landscape. So getting over to Klickitat, I mean, our property is right in here. What are we looking at? 50K for 5,000 square feet, little camping site. And we're looking at what, 200,000 for this 20 acre off Morris Road, unimproved land, no development, right? Very similar to ours. 54 days, 32 saves. So it's an active market. These are good properties. And then we can look at this other comp for 93 for 5 acres. So again, I think our property is priced extremely competitive. It's a great recreational property, great spot for an investment, great spot for a homestead or something like that. So we are quite a bit closer to white salmon. We're in the Columbia River. We're going to be getting more expensive prices. So that's what I have to share on this property. We've got a lot of good information here. Again, let me know if you have any questions. My name is Miles at Wilco Land. We've got some other deals in Washington State. Take a peek on the homepage here, wilcolandllc.com. Thanks for listening.